Ivanka on the run. Melania's brutal testimony dooms her to prison. All right, settle in, get comfortable, dim the lights if you want. Because today we're about to uncover one of the most shocking family betrayals the Trump world has ever seen. Picture this: Ivanka Trump, once the polished face of the empire, now officially on the run. Fugitive status, bench warrant issued, U.S. Marshals hunting her down after she failed to show up for a multi-year federal prison sentence. And the person who just sealed her fate? Her own stepmother, Melania Trump, with what insiders are calling a brutal, ice-cold testimony and a flat-out refusal to cooperate or save her. No leniency, no mercy, just devastating words under oath that turned the courtroom against Ivanka for good. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how this explosive drama unfolded, the viral claims blowing up online, the alleged fraud and tax charges that landed her in this mess, Melania's closed-door session, and her shocking decision to reject any deal, the furious reactions from Donald Trump himself, and why reliable sources say this whole story might be more smoke than fire. We're diving deep into the details, the timelines, the family rift, and what it really means for the Trump dynasty right now. So sit back, relax, hit that play button, and let's get into this wild ride. Because trust me, you won't believe how far this betrayal goes. This hook builds suspense, teases the key elements you'll narrate: origins, allegations, Melania's role, fact checks, current status, keeps the sit back and relax vibe, and hooks viewers for the full breakdown. Feel free to tweak the tone for your channel. The headline hit like a thunderclap across social media feeds. Ivanka on the run. Melania's brutal testimony dooms her to prison. Overnight, the phrase became impossible to scroll past. Bold red letters, dramatic stock photos of handcuffs and courthouse steps, and thumbnails showing a tense Melania staring coldly while Ivanka looked away in shadow. The promise was clear: family betrayal at the highest level, a dynasty cracking open, and the once untouchable first daughter now facing the unthinkable, federal prison bars closing in. Within hours, the story exploded. YouTube thumbnails screamed urgency with countdown timers and siren emojis. Titles varied but followed the same formula: Ivanka Fugitive after Melania's shocking testimony. Melania destroys Ivanka. No mercy, no deal. Trump family implosion. Stepdaughter on the run. View counts climbed into the hundreds of thousands as narrators with deep, urgent voices leaned into every syllable. They painted a vivid scene. Ivanka Trump, the polished businesswoman and former White House advisor, had supposedly been sentenced to 36 months in a federal facility for bank fraud and tax evasion, tied to the Trump Organization's long-running civil case. When the date came to surrender, she didn't show. A bench warrant was issued. U.S. Marshals were allegedly raiding properties, seizing her passport at a private airport, and putting out an all-points alert. The real hook, though, the part that made people stop scrolling, was the betrayal angle. According to these videos, the decisive blow came from Melania Trump herself. In a closed-door session with federal prosecutors, she reportedly delivered what insiders called a brutal and ice-cold testimony. She refused any cooperation deal that could have softened Ivanka's fate. No character references, no quiet word to the judge. Instead, sources claimed Melania provided damaging statements about Ivanka's knowledge of financial dealings, deleted communications, and moments that painted her as fully aware and complicit. One narrator described it as the testimony that turned the courtroom against her for good, suggesting Melania's words carried extra weight because of her own protected status and distance from the business side of the family. Viewers were told Donald Trump was furious, issuing private threats and public denials while the family fractured in real time. Comments flooded in. "I knew Melania was ruthless. This is Game of Thrones level. The Trumps are finally eating their own." The narrative fed on years of public fascination with the family's dynamics, glamour mixed with suspicion, loyalty tested by legal pressure. It felt like the perfect storm: high stakes, personal drama, and the allure of seeing untouchable people fall. Yet beneath the flash and fury, questions lingered. No official court documents surfaced. No press release from the Department of Justice confirmed a sentence, a warrant, or any testimony from Melania. Major networks stayed silent. Still, the story moved fast, carried by algorithm-fueled outrage and the human hunger for scandal inside America's most talked-about family. What started as a single viral thumbnail had already become a wildfire, and people were watching to see who would burn next. The story didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was born on YouTube, where sensationalism thrives and truth often takes a back seat. Channels with names like Jaffrey Capital, Politics Raw, Newsflash America, and others began uploading videos in early February 2026, all centered on the exact same explosive claim. Their thumbnails featured split images: Ivanka's face looking panicked on one side, Melania's expression cold and detached on the other, overlaid with screaming text like "Fugitive" or "Betrayal," and red arrows pointing to supposed warrants or prison bars. These videos typically ran 10 to 25 minutes, narrated in urgent, hushed tones meant to mimic breaking news. One popular upload, titled precisely "Ivanka on the Run, Melania's Brutal Testimony Dooms Her to Prison," opened with dramatic music and a voiceover declaring Ivanka had missed her self-surrender date for a 36-month sentence handed down in a federal bank and tax fraud case. The narrator claimed a judge immediately issued a bench warrant, turning her into a fugitive. Marshals were said to be actively searching, even seizing her passport during a dramatic airport raid. The videos leaned heavily on unnamed insiders and sources close to the case. They described Melania's role as the turning point. Prosecutors had allegedly offered her a cooperation deal to testify about specific financial transactions she witnessed, promising to recommend a lighter sentence for Ivanka, from a potential 11-19 years down to 6 to 10. Melania's legal team supposedly rejected it in writing, with one short statement. She declined to provide testimony or any support. In some versions, she appeared for a closed-door session, delivered brutal and ice-cold answers, and walked away, sealing Ivanka's fate. Narrators speculated this refusal stemmed from personal tension, Melania's desire to protect her own image, or even deeper family rifts. To add fuel, clips showed stock footage of U.S. Marshals' vehicles, courtrooms, and old Trump family photos edited to look tense. Some included fabricated, leaked audio snippets or text overlays of supposed court orders. Comments sections erupted with reactions. Some users called it karma. Others questioned if it was real, but most engaged, boosting the algorithm. Views shot up quickly, with some videos hitting tens or hundreds of thousands within days. These channels often cross-promoted each other, sharing similar scripts and visuals. The content recycled elements from past Trump legal stories, the New York civil fraud trial, older investigations, but twisted them into fresh criminal drama. No links to official documents, DOJ statements, or mainstream reporting were provided. Instead, the videos ended with calls to subscribe for updates on the supposed unfolding saga, promising more revelations about Donald Trump's reaction or Jared Kushner's next move. This ecosystem thrives on speed and emotion. Drop a shocking title, promise family implosion, and let outrage do the rest. What began as isolated uploads soon spread to Facebook groups and X posts, where users reposted clips with captions like "The Trumps are done" or "Melania finally snapped." The origin was clear. YouTube's recommendation engine turned rumor into viral news, and the story gained life not from facts, but from the irresistible pull of scandal inside power's inner circle. The allegations in these viral videos break down into a handful of dramatic interlocking claims that fuel the entire narrative. At the core is the assertion that Ivanka Trump was convicted in a federal criminal case involving bank fraud, tax evasion, and possibly conspiracy charges linked to the Trump Organization's financial practices. The supposed sentence, 36 months, 3 years, in federal prison, with self-surrender ordered at a facility like FCI Danbury. When she allegedly failed to appear, a judge swiftly issued a bench warrant labeling her a fugitive. U.S. Marshals were then said to be in hot pursuit, raiding properties, seizing her passport at a private airport, and placing her under an all-points bulletin. Some versions escalate the drama further, claiming her bond was revoked, GPS monitoring imposed, or even an emergency custody order issued. The real emotional punch, though, centers on Melania Trump's role. Prosecutors supposedly subpoenaed her as a key witness, offering a cooperation deal, testify about specific financial transactions she personally witnessed, often described as 3 key deals involving loans, valuations, or transfers, and they'd recommend slashing Ivanka's sentence dramatically, from a potential 11-19 years down to 6-10 years with possible leniency. Melania's response, according to the videos, was a cold refusal. Her legal team rejected the agreement in writing, a short statement declaring she would not provide testimony, character references, or any support. In more elaborate retellings, she appeared for a closed-door 2-hour session with prosecutors, delivering what sources called brutal and ice-cold answers, damaging details about Ivanka's knowledge of the dealings, deleted emails or messages, and moments of awareness that painted her as complicit. This refusal allegedly left no room for mercy, turning the courtroom decisively against Ivanka and sealing her harsher fate. To heighten the family drama, narrators weave in reactions, Donald Trump exploding in private rage, issuing threats, or posting furious, then deleted messages. Jared Kushner is sometimes thrown in for mystery, with claims of sudden flights or silence. The videos cite insiders, courtroom sources, or leaked documents, but never linked to verifiable records. No DOJ press releases, no PACER docket entries, no mainstream outlet confirmations. These elements recycle real past scrutiny. The New York civil fraud case where Ivanka testified as a witness, not defendant after dismissal on statute of limitations grounds, distancing herself from key financial statements. But the criminal angle, federal indictment, conviction, sentencing, fugitive status, is fabricated escalation. The betrayal theme taps into public fascination with Trump family tensions, making the story feel plausible despite lacking evidence. In short, the allegations paint a cinematic picture of crime, capture, and cold-hearted stepmother sabotage. They're built for maximum engagement, high stakes, personal venom, and the fall of the powerful. Yet every major claim, sentence, warrant, passport seizure, Melania's testimony remains unsupported by official sources.